6. It's called problem solving using unit conversion. Sometimes they refer to this as dimensional analysis. So if you're trying to look up more examples or refer to it in another textbook, then you might want to look up this definition too. These mean the same thing. Okay, so for example, let's say you want to figure out how many feet are in 2 yards. Okay, so you guys probably instinctively know this already. So you probably said in your head, there's 6 feet in 2 yards. And you know this because you know that there is 3 feet in 1 yard. But let's talk about how you actually did the math in your head if you set it up using unit conversion or dimensional analysis. So how would you get there using that? So if we first write our equality, so our equality is that there is 1 yard for every 1 yard, there is 3 feet. Okay, so now we write our conversion factors. Same thing we've been doing. So 1 yard over 3 feet, or 3 feet over 1 yard. Okay, so you always start with what you're given. So you are given 2 yards, okay, and then you need to go to what you need. So what you need here is feet. Okay, so then you can draw a map for yourself to know how to get from one to the other. So you're going to start with yards and go to feet. So I'm going to write that in here. Yards to feet. Okay, so this is like a road map. It tells you where you're starting and where you're going. So you start with what you're given. So 2 yards. And then we can use this kind of railroad system here to be able to easily see what you need to multiply and what you need to divide. So first thing, when you look at this to set it up, look at what's in the numerator in your given. Look at the units. So you have yards. So you need yards in the denominator on the bottom. But this is so that your units will cancel. So it's just like when you divide in math and you can cancel numbers that are on top and on the bottom. So you're going to write 1 yard here and then 3 feet. So you see that this right here is the conversion factor that we wrote here. Okay, so now we have yards in the numerator and yards in the denominator, so they cancel. And that leaves us with the unit that we need, which is feet. So let me just underline that. Okay, so now the simple math, you've already done it in your head. You get 6 feet in 1 yard. Okay, so again, you always start with what you're given. You don't start with inequality. Okay, so that's important. Make sure you start with the number that you're given in the problem. Okay, example. How many kilometers are in 1706.3 meters? Okay, so again, here are the steps. 1. State what you're given. And what you need. 2. Draw your roadmap. 3. Write your equalities. 4. And conversion factors. Because the conversion factor is really what you need when you do the calculation. And lastly, of course, set up your problem. And calculate. Okay, so our example is how many kilometers are in 1706.3 meters. So we're given 1706.3 meters, and we need kilometers. Okay. So now we need to draw our map. So we're starting with meters. And going to kilometers. Okay, so next thing we need to do is write our equality. So our we need to do the same thing that we did before. So meters equals blank kilometers. Okay, so write a 1 in your prefix, and then the value of kilo equals 10 to the third. Okay, so now we write our value in the other blank. Our conversion factors, we need to write those. So 1 kilometer per 10 to the third meters, or 10 to the third meters per 1 kilometer. Okay, so now we have everything that we need in order to set up our problem. So remember, start with what you're given. So you were given 1706.3 meters, and then we can draw our railroad. So now we need to make sure that we write our meters in the bottom so that they'll cancel. Meters on top, meters on bottom, and then kilometers is what's left. Okay, so cancel since we have it on top and bottom, and then we need to do our math. So remember that every time that you do this, you need to multiply by the number on top and divide by the number on the bottom. So do that calculation, and what would your answer be? Okay. So our answer would be 1.7063. Hopefully that's what you got. Make sure that you include units when you write your answer. So now we need to take a look at the sig figs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs. So our answer should have 5 sig figs. Because remember, our conversion factors are exact numbers. They don't count towards significant figures. So in this example, the number that you started with, however many significant figures are in that, or how many should be in your answer. So your answer here is correct. 1.7063 kilometers. Okay.